evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. How is everybody? Are we all right?
Yeah.
We're better now.
I want to start off with something tonight. Good evening, everybody in the chat. I just want to start off with something, just to make a point over something.
I know what's coming. Oh.
Right.
Easy, Anne-Marie, easy.
Right. That is not easy to do. Do we all agree on that?
Absolutely.
Let alone it's not easy to do in one season. Also, over 4 seasons, that's not easy to do.
No. So,
yes, we're having a shite old season, but what is a shite old season? Let's appreciate what we've actually, what we've actually achieved. Again, good evening, everybody. DC, Bellamo, Manchester Blue, Sean, Adam, Formidables, LB. Good evening, pal. Mark Armstrong. Listen, I'm a bit croaky because I believe I was on this stream at some point last Sunday live from Benidorm. So I've not watched it back, but apologies. Apologies to everybody I may have offended. Apologies to everybody I didn't offend because I normally do. So
I think it's your wife you owe the apology to.
Well, I promised Paddy yesterday, and yesterday was the first day we'd all met up live, wasn't it, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. It was. It was a little bit disappointing, though, I must say, because a certain Anne-Marie turned up in.
That isn't me. Take that down.
She turned up in a red coat and red trainers.
That down. It wasn't. That's not me.
Paddy,
I ain't getting involved in that shit.
There are clues.
Not me.
There are clues that give it away that it's not you, Anne-Marie, but I'm not going to mention them.
No, the handbag.
He's only jealous, Anne-Marie, because we were famous yesterday at the ground. We got recognised.
We were.
So he's famous.
On that note, a big shout out to Blue Sparkles, who watches the stream but doesn't comment. But we met her after the game last night as we were walking out, and I just want to say it was a pleasure to meet you.
And if you're there, Blue Spark.
Anyway, how are you, Stan? You all right, mate?
I'm fine, but yeah, it's all right. It's nice to go to a match and not get murdered.
I know it is, mate, isn't it? Paddy's first ever match at the Etihad yesterday, and he thinks he's Billy Big Balls now.
Yeah.
I only have to go once to make an impression.
So, right. Yes, no answer, Paddy. Did Anne-Marie wear red trainers yesterday?
Yes.
Stan?
No.
Thank you, Stan.
Bullshit, Stan. Come on.
Stan, they were red.
I'm not sure that would go down classed as red. I mean, that's a red can you're drinking there. You've got a red can in your hand.
You didn't actually be drinking.
That's red. My trainers weren't that colour.
Anyway, let's talk. Yeah, it was good to see you all yesterday. Our first ever get together. Not keys in the bowl kind of thing, guys. Before you start saying that, although Anne-Marie did suggest it, but Paddy had a flight to get to, and I had other destinations to go to. So we just left Anne-Marie with Stan. I don't know what happened. Don't care. Anyway,
I had a sore knee, Andy. My shins had gone, and I had a sore knee.
You left me with Stan.
But Stan and Paddy did take a trip down Canal Street. That is a fact.
Yes.
No, that's not true, that.
You did?
No, nowhere near Canal Street. We had a trip down the canal.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, I must say, a trip down Canal Street without a C.
Yeah. He had a 10p mix-up in his pocket. I don't know why you had that for.
I've never seen him throw £5 notes down in front of anybody before like he did with you, Paddy.
Before we talk about the game, can I just say, what do we think? Is it possible we could get a really great weekend and Leicester beat United?
Oh, that would be great.
Well, this United have certainly in for a chance of getting beat because Anana started for them.
I nearly break out in a drink if that was the case.
I'll keep you updated because I've sort of like got it there, but I'm concentrating on the show really, Anne-Marie. Yeah.
So am I. I'm not watching it at all.
So anyway, yeah, bit about the match yesterday. I'm going to let you go first on it before I have a go. Let's start off with the Virgin of the Etihad. No, not you, Anne-Marie. I'm on about Paddy.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
You take it whatever way you want, like you did with Stan, but that's another story. Go on.
Yeah, so look. So it's the same story all season, isn't it? It's just a collective malaise around the team. You have to cut them some slack because they've been on top of their game for the last 6 seasons or the 7. They're bound to have an off season. So what are you going to do? Jump all over their back and criticize them and give out? Like, if anything, Liverpool proved that today how hard that actually is to do. You know, they've run out of legs. We didn't run out of legs for the last 6 or 7 seasons. So we've had an off season. We're not playing to our best. Yeah, it'll be a different next season, hopefully, when there's a bit more. I don't know, it's not even hunger. I think it's just. I think the whole team are kind of just burnt out or semi-burnt out.
I really thank you for summarising the season so far, but I asked you about the match yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. Like the team are burnt out.
In what way? In what way are they burnt out?
I just think the engine has been running on full blast, and it's after packing up. Like the
goal of the match yesterday, I thought Erling took his penalty really, really well because he normally goes to the keeper's right, doesn't
he?
Yeah.
But I don't. I like on that point, like where I was sitting in the noisy stand opposite the library, like you could.
What have you moved? Have you gone into Cork Library? Did you move from your normal seat to Cork Library?
Have you moved? Have you moved seats down 1 minute? Because I thought you was in the OAP stand.
No, I was.
We
were watching the library from where we were, weren't we, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, down to the left of us, the old family stand.
We seen a light come up my phone. We thought it was Stan taping the match like he normally does.
That's unfair, that, and it's Stan.
It's not even the same, Matt.
But on a serious note, I think one of the issues
I could see what was going on though.
Right. So, on a serious note, right? I made my feelings known a little bit after the match. In fact, it was while the match was going on. I don't normally go on my phone, do a stand. But it was.
Well, there was photographic evidence.
Ooh. I'm beeping here. Don't know what's happening.
Oh, we've lost him. Happy days.
Oh, what a shame.
You've not lost me.
Oh.
Damn.
I thought the day couldn't get any better.
Right. So on a serious note, and I want to get everybody's comments in the chat as well because it's really starting to grind my gears. I'm going to show you a few pictures, right, of what my observations yesterday. Bearing in mind, this is all hospitality, and that was after 20 minutes. That didn't change pretty much all match, did it, Stan?
I wouldn't have said 20 minutes, Andy. You would have said half time. Otherwise, you would have been watching the match and taking pictures, which you don't do.
That's 20 minutes, mate.
It was 25 minutes. Yeah.
I know
Even though it says 20 minutes.
Trainers, Anne-Marie, don't you? Oh, sorry, wrong picture that. But on a serious note, people are always. Paddy was slaughtering me for disappearing. You just got rid of him.
Yeah.
Nice to enjoy us. So, right, we're just on about them, Paddy. About everyone's moaning about the Etihad being flat and stuff like that. The pictures I've shown you the pictures yesterday as well. That is a huge contribution to a flat atmosphere. You know, we can have a joke about the OAP stand where Anne-Marie sits with you, Paddy. We can have a giggle over it, but facts are facts. Though those pictures I've just shown you are all in the hospitality end. Now they either couldn't be asked for Brighton, they either couldn't be asked. Because City are not doing that great in the league, and now they're buttering up for the Leicester match in midweek where they want a City family day. That's all they're getting off me. I might not even go against Leicester.
I am.
But do you think that affects the atmosphere and stuff?
Well, it does, yeah, but I think that's more got to do with the fans, Andy, than it has got to do with the club. I just think fans can't be arsed now because we're not challenged for anything, so they can't be arsed turning up.
Yeah, that comment. Do you see it, Andy? Thanks, DC.
Which
what
comment?
was the comment, Anne-Marie?
That I was a brilliant host last week, Paddy.
Absolutely.
Or hostess somewhere. Anyway, go on, Paddy.
No, I just think it's down. I think if we were fighting for the title, the ground would have been packed just straight. You can't say it's ticket prices because ticket prices haven't changed. You know, I just think it's just fickle fans, isn't it? It's a bit of an insight into what's going to happen if we went, say, without a trophy for a couple of years. You'll have nobody getting a ticket.
Sorry, you can carry. I'm not listening to you. I'm concentrating on the viewers, the contributors. Anne-Marie, do you think it's got a big factor in, because yesterday it was flat. Granted,
I don't believe the corporate fans impact the atmosphere. That's number one on the list, because 90% of them actually probably don't give a shit about the football and are just there for the day out. And I think that it is a sign of things to come. And this is where we say you need to be careful what they wish for, because we're building, they're building an extension onto the stand which is going to increase capacity to 60,000, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to probably be a lot more hospitality included in all of that. Well, if you're not performing, should we say, then you're not going to be able to sell your.
Please tell me you're still talking about football.
Yes, of course I am. You're not going to get people spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds just to go and sit in corporate. Same way as, unfortunately, you won't get them. You'll get the hardcore that'll always go, but you'll get some of there won't be the same number of day trippers, if you like. So it was nice to see you too, Pat. So I think it's just, yesterday it was a poor atmosphere, but then the game itself has reflected our season. We played well in the first half and did absolutely nothing really in the second half.
I agree. By the way, I agree with DC there to a lot. There is a lot of the fight what's gone out. We can't just blame it down to injuries and stuff like that, because if, And I tell you what else I've seen. What's nonsense today in the media? Bernardo furious that he got substituted. He was injured.
I know, but from when you read different people's
on his dodgy knees.
No, but when you read a lot of the comments, it wasn't clear that he was injured, Andy, and even the commentators on the game didn't really know why he'd been substituted. So it wasn't an obvious injury.
If you were a commentator at that game, and you couldn't see the way Bernardo Silva walked down the pitch, he wasn't injured. You're a moron.
I know, but
exactly.
Some of these people will just be looking at it and saying, "Oh, well, that tells you where Bernardo stands." But for me,
not disagreeing with you there, Andy, not disagreeing with you. You're right. They should do that. But the point I'm making is, these commentators have got a big voice. People walk away thinking something, but you need to be an absolute genuine moron to think he wasn't injured.
Of course I do. But what concerned me most yesterday was, well, there was two things. I was amazed Gundogan lasted 90 minutes. That was the first thing. And
Anyone can last 90 minutes at the speed we moved around at.
You know something?
And the second thing is, what was the point of giving Kevin 3 minutes at the end of that game?
We said the same as Stan. What I will say is, though, I thought Gundogan played really well. I thought he had a nice, comfortable. I thought some of them had good individual performances yesterday, but not necessarily a good team performance. Because we felt it. I don't know if you felt the same. We felt it when they had a corner or something like that, set piece. Thinking we're in trouble here. The way we're lined up for corners, either for or against us. I thought Ortega. I don't know what's happened to Ortega, and I'm not digging Ortega out. I just think this season he's been quite poor, and I thought for the first goal yesterday, I thought he should have done better with that.
But it was. I mean, we even made a comment on it yesterday, Paddy, about do we actually have a set piece coach?
Yes, we do.
Because it didn't. When you look at, and I know I've said this before on the podcast.
In our set piece coach, the one who gives tickets to his mates in Liverpool and so on and so forth.
He wanted to concentrate on his job and stop giving away tickets.
Yeah, but I know I've said it before. It begs the question: when we have a corner, what kind of practicing are we doing? Because we don't really ever look like scoring from a corner. We very rarely seem to take a decent corner. So it just begs the question, and again, because if we're practicing taking our own corners, surely we're practicing defending corners, and we've got plenty of pace up front with Doku, Mamouche, and Savinho. So why are we keeping everyone back in the box when we could quite easily leave one of them up, which would pull out at least two defenders, and we can hit teams on the break? That's how it seems to me, because that's one of the issues with our game. It's all too slow.
Let's answer DC's question here. I have a genuine question for the panel. There are a few local well-known City YouTubers who film parts of every home match on their phones. Why don't they get criticised? They would have me. I'd probably end up throwing the phone on the pitch if I saw them. I don't know who they are, by the way. Maybe private message me or even expose them. I'm not.
DC, name and shame, because to me it's totally wrong to do that. If you're there to watch the game, you're there to watch the game, not film it or look at it through a lens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're monetizing City. You have to understand that.
So, I'm going to go through a few positives about the match yesterday, because I think it's unfair for him just to keep getting hammered. I thought Uzbekistan was all right. Yeah, he scored an own goal, but I thought he was generally okay. I thought Nico was good. Doku, very, very good. And I've been thinking about this Doku thing because I do criticize him, which is allowed, about him not picking the right pass out. But yesterday, and again, as I always do, I watch the match. In most instances yesterday, there was only Haaland up with him, and Haaland had 3-4 players on him. So it's going to be even more difficult for Doku to pick that perfect pass out. That's all. That's what I will say about Doku. I thought it was excellent. Mamouche, I thought until the last 15 minutes was okay. I thought he took his goal brilliantly. He chases back a little bit, so it gives that bit of a passion. I'd probably say that is probably the positives I dug out of that match.
But Andy, I don't think any of them players played bad yesterday. Even Gundogan.
No,
I don't think any player had a bad game yesterday.
Was that Vinto Zero? Has it done you in today? I've just said they're the positive. I thought they played well.
Yeah, but you preceded that by saying we're going to have to stop hammering them.
I said I'm not going to start hammering them. I'm not.
All right.
Thank you, Formidables. You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with that, Stan.
Yeah, I am, Andrew. I am in my messy room.
And Andrew, joke or not, there's no need to be offensive or anything, is there, mate?
Exactly. None of your business, Andrew.
No, I've got Lionel sat next to me, giving me a few pointers. So there's a lot to there's a lot to unpack in that game, isn't there? There's loads and loads of stuff. I think we are not short on ideas, but I just think, obviously we're short on confidence. When you looked at Ortega, and you can see he's looking to who to kick the ball out to, there's no movement. There was very, very little movement. When we did move the ball across the pitch, there was always a foot or somebody's ass or somebody's hand or something in the way for us to get the ball across. I mean, Brighton, all they did was just go up and down, up and down, up and down the pitch. And it works. But if we played the way they did, we would be hammered because they're having an exceptional season and they're about sixth. We would not win what we won playing the way they do. I was watching that, is it Belieber, how you pronounce it? He's a hell of a unit. And he gets around. He doesn't half get around. But his passing is diabolical. Absolutely awful. All they did was hoof it from the back to the front. That's completely off the menu as far as Pep's concerned. He won't have that, whether we like it or not, and we can argue all day about it. He wants players on there that can control the game. He was quite happy for Mahrez to sit up because when the ball came out at corners, we had that outlet. He's okay for Jack Grealish to do what he does and not do what Doku does because he can control it. Doku put in some great crosses yesterday. Not his fault, no one's there. But then we've got he should have 3 people to aim at. But those 3, Savio, Marmouche and Haaland, I mean, how many games have they played together? 5, 6? The only thing we can do is really hope to get through this year, get in Europe, get in the Champions League, get this out of the way. And we're going to be half a season down the road compared to other teams because they're starting in August and we've started our rebuild in January. And it's going to take time. And because we pretty well had the same players for the last 4 years, we've never really needed time because they all know what they're doing. This is going to... J-Fresh, our overall quality has dropped massively. It has to a degree because we've not got those players firing. And when we say those injuries shouldn't matter, John Stones isn't there. Ake isn't there. Akanji isn't there. Rodri isn't there. I can tell you, if you had the quality of those guys in any other team in the top 5 out injured, Liverpool would not be winning the league. If you had 5 guys that are important to the team like they are to us, none of them teams will be anywhere. These are good players, really good players. And the same with Walker to a degree. I mean, all right, he fell off the cliff, he completely collapsed. But when we're comparing them to what he did like the last 4 years, yes, we have fell off the cliff, but that cliff was so high. You know, let's not forget, no one's done what we've done there.
That's a great point. What you make, though, mate. It's like, yeah, a lot of these, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, etc., Chelsea, they will start their rebuild in the summer. We've brought 5 in with Echeverri as well, haven't we? You know, where they're going to be playing for what 6 months together before anybody else, you know, even steps up. We're going to have a fit and healthy Rodri coming back. You know, we're going to have new players coming in. So it does bode well when you put that spin on it.
Well, the next thing is, like, I mean, we were all like, "Oh, Anne-Marie," but she did have a very good point, and it was the right point even at the time, that if we did go out of Europe, we've now got time to. You think how many games are left now? 5. Yeah,
9, isn't it?
And you look
9 games left, and that's without.
No. Europe. Sorry. How many games are left to win the Champions League? How many games would we need to play? Is it 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's 5, isn't it? Because you've got the quarters, the semi, and the back. Right. So you've got 2 days to get there and a day to get back. And I was saying this a couple of years ago. People don't realise just how much time one game in Europe takes out of you. You've got to be in that country 24 hours beforehand. We were losing 15 days. Come February, March, April, 15 days of training. And I've said that many, many times, so-and-so have done well because they've had 5 days to train. They've not had to go here. They've not had to go there. They've not had to do all this. Well, for the first time in 4 or 5 years, we now have that time. Mm-hmm. We've got it. We only really need to play on weekends from now till the end of the season. So we've got that.
Would that have an adverse effect, though, where you're only playing once a week?
No, because what we're trying to do is get all that time, all that training, all that pressure. You understanding that when you're stood here, he goes, that we can't do in a match, and that we're clearly not being able to do now because we've not got the lads, the Grealishes, the Bernardos, the injured lads that we were talking about on the pitch all the time, who didn't have to think. You can't think in football. You've got to do, and you've got to know where to run. Because the second you think, you've lost it. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're doing at the moment. We're thinking too much. Hang on, I've got the ball. I'm cushioning off. I'm a 19, 20-year-old lad. Who do I pass it to? Diaz never did that. He just banged. Even the general didn't do it. Bang. Just goes. Do you know what to do? Do you know where they're going? Gavadio. They just do it. They don't need to think. And that's why we could move the ball around a lot quicker 6 months ago. And we can't do it quite as much now. Because some lad will be frightened to death of giving the ball away. Because if you give the ball away, that is a cardinal sin in the way we play. I tell you now, that Believer, if he played for City, I'll give you 3 matches and you'd hate him. Because he'd be oofing it, we'd be losing the ball, and the ball would be coming straight back to us. And that, no, we ain't going to be going that way. Not ever. Not while Pep's in charge. You can argue the toss all day if you want him in or not. But while he's here, that's what he's going to do.
Paddy, it's like what you said before. You know what? I think I've not looked at the league table. We're 5th. Are we 5th? You know, and we're all considering. When I say all, I don't mean all. Everybody. A lot of people are thinking, "Oh, we've had a shit season." I'd take 4th or 5th now. And with what Steve says there, if we win the FA Cup, and it's not guaranteed, but for me, that would be, considering what we've gone through this season, it would be an unbelievable season.
Well, if you want to be smart about it, we already have the trophy.
Very true, Paddy.
Seeing everyone else is claiming it as a trophy, we may as well claim it as a trophy now.
Yeah, but we don't do that, do we? So let's forget that one. If we win the FA Cup and we qualify for the Champions League, by the way, it might be an unpopular thing. I'm not even asked it. The club needs a Champions League. I'm not asked about the Champions League, but I understand why we need it. So if we won this Club World Chocolate Cup thing, there's what going to be 100 million to win that. So the dent wouldn't be as bad. All right,
there's your right back there, Andy.
The thing is, people might say, "Oh yeah, but players, they'll want to play in the Champions League." I'm sure they'd take a hit for one year to carry on playing and being coached under Pep.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't? But I definitely do think we'll make the top four. We ought to shout it out. Like Forest 6 points ahead of us.
Age catch up with the team, unfortunately. I know I've had a long week, mate. I know what you mean about the other three, though.
That was the other thing, I think we touched on it just before Christmas about the amount of players that if they do leave, even if half of them left, that is a huge amount of knowledge, experience and footballing know-how going out that door in summer. Even if it's only 4 of them, you could pick any 4 of them, and that's a lot of knowledge going out of the club. So that's something else we've got to be prepared for. I mean, I'm not. Clearly, I hope we win the league next season. But if we make a fist to try to do it, I think we've done all right because we are in that change. Other clubs take 30 years to do it. It's.
Do you agree with what Martin says there, Anne-Marie, that Pep has to be ruthless this summer? And and I think he will be because we saw KDB come on with, 5 minutes to go or something yesterday when the game was crying out for a bit of creativity. Sorry, Paddy, we're keeping you awake, son.
Yeah, I've been travelling for the last 48 hours. You have more.
Yeah, he's had a couple of early starts this weekend.
And he spent a lot of hours with me yesterday.
Well, yeah, that's hard work for anyone.
But
seriously, like the game was crying out for a bit of creativity yesterday, and KDB wasn't brought on till 80. I think it was something like 85th minute, wasn't it? For me, sadly, I think that could be for the end of KDB.
Yeah, I hope not, because since the time Danny was on the podcast, if the rumors was that Kevin De Bruyne was going to take a reduced contract and agree to become a bit part player, if you can bring De Bruyne on for the last 20 minutes,
5 minutes, not 5 minutes a game bit part.
Huh?
I don't think you meant 5 minutes a game bit part. That's not disrespectful.
I know that. I know that. I'm not saying that, but I mean, if you could bring a fully fit and operational Kevin De Bruyne on to give you 20 minutes of golden Kevin De Bruyne rather than 90 minutes where he starts to tire, Kevin De Bruyne will do a lot of damage in 15, 20 minutes.
Bellamo, that's because he's Googling it now, you see, look.
No, he will have to be brilliant. We know that, but the downside of it is be prepared that it's not going to be straight back to wine and roses again. There's going to be some surgery need doing, and I don't think some fans are going to be quite happy with the amount of surgery that if he is ruthless, we are going to need to do to get back to the top.
But I think and again, Stan, I think you made a great point, and I've not really thought of it that way. Yeah, some surgery, but we'll be six months ahead in our surgery. We will.
We'll
be for training when others are in a casualty department.
But I mean, Sean C there, it's a great point. He's not actually said the point I think he's getting at, but their old players were found out today. They had a European game this week at home. Yeah. The emotion, the everything. They've gone out on penalties. They're absolutely drained, and they've got to get themselves up again. Mm-hmm. It shows you just how good we were, because Liverpool could not put in a performance like they've done earlier in the year, or the consistency that they've done, because they were knackered emotionally, physically. They were on their backside today, and Newcastle took full advantage. Fair play to them. Fair play to them.
What I will stay on this, I don't know what Anne-Marie and Paddy think of this. Liverpool, and people can set this whatever way they want, they are the best team in England this season, although I don't think they've been anything special.
No, not at all.
No.
They've not been the Liverpool what have been pushing Pep City for
No.
like Klopp's teams was and stuff like swashbuckling football, and they've
No.
not been that. They've just took advantage, and it may sound disrespectful, but have they took advantage of everybody else's failings this season, or just City's? Because we're seeing again.
No, they have. They have, because everybody's had injuries. They haven't had any. But as I was saying to Pat,
the others have had injuries, Stan. Right, but you look at the team in second place again, Arsenal. Arsenal haven't really played well. For me, Arsenal have been a team that have needed a striker for 3 years, not just now. They've needed one for 3 years, and they might have been able to challenge us better. But they're a team of bottlers.
they are. It's not, they are. Nobody's denying that. But it can't help you when your main bottle man, Saka, I don't mean bottle that he loses his bottle. Your main man's not there and all, and, Odegaard and all the other players who aren't there. Now, I tell you what, he's finding out, and he's little Mickle, that it isn't easy to win a league without a striker. But we had no striker for 2 years and managed it. So, all these excuses and reasons that they can come out with, great. But the point I'm trying to make, Andy, is that Liverpool haven't had to be, and Andy said it, they haven't had to be a 90-point team season to win the league this year. And it's that high consistency.
Well, look, do you think if we were in Liverpool's position and 3 of our better players, i.e. Salah, Virgil, and not that I rate him, Terence Darby, were all due to go on free transfers at the end of the season? Do you think we'd have let it go to that point without sorting it out?
We spoke about it yesterday, didn't they? This is meant to be a mythical. This is meant to be a mythical backroom team, and yet
we sort of have. Because everyone's going, why didn't we bring covering for Rodri? Why didn't we do this? Why do we that? Didn't we do that? And Pep's in fact, he's not almost said it. Pep said himself, maybe he's too loyal to the players. What I've given me, give him like. They're all for so long. So,
what I was saying now, Andy, right, and I'm going to go back to what you said at the start of the season, when it started to go wrong. That team had just done 4 in a row. They were flying. They were untouchable. You can go back to that old time saying, you always refresh when you're on top. Like, even now, right, fans now are being knee-jerk, he needs to go, De Bruyne needs to go, Silva needs to go, Stones needs to go, Aki needs to go. The more I think about that, the more I think that would be a mistake. I think you should add to that squad and augment that squad to complement what we have. And maybe a year from now, bring them in. Let me give you
a good example of that, mate. I'll give you a good example of that. Remember when Rodri joined us, everyone was calling him Plodre, or he can't do anything. He was under Fernandinho's wing, and he had a season under Fernandinho's wing to develop, know about the cut, not just about football. It's knowing about how Pep plays, the culture, language. It's the whole main road chipper. It's the whole everything. And by the way, Stan, yesterday, got to answer you. Isle Berkovic.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean now? Yeah. It's the whole thing. So I agree with you there, Paddy, because if De Bruyne, everyone used to say, Foden's the heir to De Bruyne. I don't really think he is. if we need is there another De Bruyne somewhere? Time will tell on that. But you don't want that player to come in and it's the old adage, isn't it? He needs replacing. No, we need topping up, spend a year under De Bruyne, the knowledge what that player's going to get. So it's not always about, just getting rid of players. Otherwise,
yeah, but I think that goes back to what Stan says. You can't replace De Bruyne or you can't replace Rodri. You bring in a player and the system adapts to that player's strengths. Don't forget, next season, we are going to have Rodri back. You're going to have probably two Nicos. The young lad, Nico O'Reilly and Gonzalez. That's going to be a hell of a midfield. I can't see Pep not adding another midfielder. We do need an actual qualified right back who that's his position, not somebody who's going to fill in at right back. An actual qualified right back. So that you're going to have a new right back. You're going to have Husanoff. And then you're going to have a choice then of Aki, Akanji, Stones, Diaz, and Guardiola.
What about up front?
Two spots.
What about up front, though?
Well, up front, you have Mamus.
Hey, and don't forget, Paddy. Don't forget, Paddy, your mate who played today, he'll be back. Bob the Moose.
For anybody who's wondering why we're all laughing, Paddy, I had Paddy yesterday because he always sounds like he calls him a moose, right? So I said to Paddy yesterday, I'll get you today. I'll get you on the show. He goes, no, you won't. You won't get me. How many times did he have him over yesterday?
Oh God, it was just. They were like little kids yesterday. Let me assure you.
On that.
Where are you going, Anne-Marie?
I tell you what, though, again, we brought this up before, but after 9 matches this season, we were top with 1-7 and drawn 2, and Rodri had played about 60 minutes, if that. So something happened between week 9 and week whenever it was, and whatever it was.
I'll tell you what happens, Dan, right? If you think of a set of cog of wheels that drives a machine, you take one cog out, it affects the rest of the machine.
But it wasn't affecting it before, was it? 9 games in, it wasn't affecting us.
No, but when you look at who we played,
in terms of consistency,
look at who we played for the 9 games at the start of the season. You can only play what's in front of you. I understand that. But at the same time, when you take such an integral cog out of the wheel, it's going to have a massive impact on the team. Because
I am asking the question part rhetorically, that it's not just Rodri. There has been a lot of things that have gone on, and the wheel, the nuts and bolts have come off, and the wheels are wheeling off.
The injuries we've had this season are unbelievable. We've never had, I don't think we've ever had the same back four at any point this season because of injuries.
No.
Akanji, Aki, Stones.
It's not just defensively, Anne-Marie. It's been midfield. People seem to forget that. People might laugh. The likes of Kovacic, he's on the bench and stuff like that. But he was out at the same time as Rodri as well. Yeah. So he didn't have anybody. Yeah. And we was playing like Rico in there, and Rico was getting slaughtered. Rico, God bless his cotton socks, he's not Rodri. Rico, God bless his cotton socks, he's not even a Kovacic. So all these little things do affect us. So I'd like to think next season there's no way we would have a fraction of all these injuries, and all these players will be bedded in what we've got now, etc. And it's only going to bode well. Question from Sean there. Funnily enough, Sean, we was discussing this, and bizarrely, we all seem to think it's going to be this week, and we've not heard anything. We just seem to think because of the international break. I think that's when the Premier League will shit its pants and put it out, trying to.
Hope it goes under the carpet.
trying to deflect from the embarrassing squad that Tommy Turtle put out.
Tommy Turtle. It took me a second.
Here's an interesting fact for you. Despite, all the injuries we've had and all that, and we've not really had that. Well, we've had Jack Grealish out, haven't we? We've had a few up front. However, nobody in the league bar Liverpool has scored more goals than us. So I don't know what Doku's doing, but somebody's putting the ball in the net because Ireland's rubbish. Savio couldn't hit a cow's door. A cow's door? I couldn't hit a barn door with the banjo. He's all thought,
How many goals is it that Gabardol has scored this season?
3 or 4.
Isn't he the highest scoring defender in the Premier League?
Yeah, with about 3 or 4. Defenders don't really score 10, 15 goals. They're not huge amounts.
None of our players, other than Haaland, are scoring.
No, well, this is it. This is the thing, isn't it? Despite all that, nobody scored, nobody can hit the banjo, nobody can hit anything. We're rubbish. The whole thing's falling apart. And yet we're still there. No one scored more goals,
Do something. And I'll say this where I'm 1,000,000% sure because it's on the same trail of thought as me. Cathy, because every other team has been rubbish. Totally agree. Mark, the whole league has been poorly, really.
Do you know what? I'm going to
I absolutely 100% agree.
I don't know if it's been rubbish or poor. I think a lot of teams have got to a very similar level. Your Brentford, your Bournemouth, all of them, they can beat anyone on the day now. Whereas I don't think it was quite that much a long time ago. There's a few into down at the bottom. Your Ipswich, Leicester, your Southampton.
Yeah, but
forget them.
They're the three teams that were promoted. And for me, what it shows is the gap between Championship and Premier League. So, as if you look at the minute, the top 3 in the Championship at the minute, Leeds, Sheffield United, and Burnley. Yeah. Now, whichever of them come up, they're going to struggle next season.
Yeah, they will struggle. But the point is,
same ballpark as the worst team in the Premier League at the minute.
No, yeah, and that's right. And you'll always get 3 teams that are rubbish down at the bottom. But there's about 10 points separating 3 right down to 10th. It's very, very minimal. They can all beat each other on the day. So that obviously there's 3 at the top that tend to win more than others, and that'll be Liverpool, Arsenal, and us. And there'll be 3 at the bottom that can't beat teams. But in that pack, there isn't a great deal of difference, I think.
He did. Paddy got proper reeled in then, didn't he?
I can't see that happened.
It says Paddy totally reeled in then.
I absolutely did. But I'll tell you something now, right? Like if you think about it, right, and this is not me being big-headed, but any team that has come up against us, i.e. Liverpool for the last number of years, we broke them to the point that Klopp left. Arsenal have come up now in the last couple of seasons. We now have broke them because if we didn't, they'd be running away with the league this year. They're not playing the same standard of football they were last year when we won that league. So we broke them. But then Liverpool went unnoticed and they just kind of snuck up, and obviously they're top of the league. But any team that comes up against us, it just shows you what it takes to take us on and go the distance with us, It's just this year we've ran out of steam ourselves. But like any team that's come up against us, look what's happened to them.
Again, mate, that's a fair point because even Klopp said he was exhausted, didn't he? He's run out of energy and stuff like that. That itself, respect for him, by admitting that. But that's the level it takes for anybody to beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, and I agree about Liverpool that they've more or less kept the same squad of what Klopp brought in. It wasn't convincing last season, so maybe it goes back to what Stan was saying earlier. But it takes so long for players to bed in. Maybe we've seen that, but there's no doubt about it. It will hurt Pep massively. This poor season, it'll really get on Pep's threatening bits, because he won't. If he's only going to be with us for say another one season, he will want to go out on a massive high, not just fizzle out.
No, I think that's why he's renewed it this year, because he looked at it and he thought, I'm not going out like this. No chance. No chance.
I'd agree with you, Stan.
If we won the league next year, he might go then and think, well, here's my present to you. I'm off. If we don't win it next year, he might hang on one more year just to get that final present. But yeah, I just don't think he would want to. And he didn't. He signed the contract, didn't he? And he said it essentially.
You seen what he did with Liverpool fans when they were singing to him, "You're getting sacked in the morning." He held up his 6 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that's what Liverpool fans have got on each hand, mate.
That's Burnley.
But on the back of what you're saying there, Stan, first and foremost for me, Pep can do whatever he wants. He can leave. He's got enough in the bank. You know what I mean by the bank. I don't mean money. With City to do whatever he wants. Now I've heard it. This is not an ITK, but this is 100%. He is back with his partner. So
he was
maybe
back in Barcelona last week, wasn't he?
He's 100%. It's a reconciliation. And do you know something? For me, that's more important than football. More important is his well-being, his happiness and stuff like that. That's far more important. So if that extra year with a year option only comes to that extra year and it declines that option, thanks, Pep. What we've seen is unbelievable. And we not only will we not see it again in our lifetime, no other team will see it again in their lifetime. So
Pep owes us absolutely nothing after everything he's given us to this point. And that for me is that's good enough. He's done something. He's done things that we will never ever see again in the Premier League. 100 points
forever then by Oasis.
No, but the 100 points, the treble, the quad, the formidables, winning all 4 domestic trophies. Those 5 trophies, 4 in a row. We will never see that again in this country.
Yeah, but every 5 years. Yeah, but every 5 years he overthinks, so he's an absolute failure.
But again,
that's what you think listening to some fans.
Yeah, as I say, his well-being, his happiness is more important to me than
100%.
It's just
100%.
And so something's bugging me what Paddy said earlier, and he's right. See, I do learn things on here as well, about. I think it was Paddy anyway, which amazes me. If it is Paddy where I've learned something.
It definitely wasn't me.
Over the past, let's go past the last. Let's go back the past 4 seasons. It's all been harmony. We've lost. We're not going to win the league this season. All of a sudden, individual players are being targeted. Like the bad old days, if you like. So that's got a contribution as well, regardless what people say. These players are massively out of form. Rico's been getting it. It's well documented all the shit what Kyle Walker was getting for whatever reason, but we saw it was affecting Kyle Walker because I forget what game it was, when KDB at the Etihad went over to fans, having a go at the fans who were having a go at Kyle Walker. So you tell it, you've got all what's going on with Jack Grealish, for whatever reasons. They read social media. So, yeah, it's part of the job. They're on big money and stuff like that, but the human beings at the end of the day. So it's little factors like, well, it's not even a little factor. It's a huge factor. Things like that influence how players play.
I know, but unfortunately, Andy, we can sit here and we can have our views and we can agree or disagree on, whatever. But you've got the thing now is with the social media, you've got all keyboard warriors that have got no common sense, no thought for the person that they're chatting to or talking about, and will say whatever they want to say because they think there's absolutely no comeback for them. And that's
do you want me to give you sort of an example on that even last night, Anne-Marie? And it's somebody who I know, who I'm not going to say what he's called. Jeremy Doku posted something on the lines of, I don't know if he was praising God or whatever, just saying, he had a great performance. He's going on international break. And this person, who I'm very, very surprised about, atted Jeremy Doku and Man City saying, let's pray to God that you come back and you've got an end product. And I had to go at him over that because it's okay having an opinion about stuff. When you directly atting them, that's when it starts.
Oh, that's when it's completely wrong, Andy. I totally agree with you.
Premeditated and personal. Then that's where I've told you.
It's a whole different level.
Yeah,
and like I say, it's one thing.
I would not have players on social media if I run a football club.
And it's one thing, like I say, us sitting here and having our opinion, and we'll call out players sometimes if we think we need to. But yeah, Mahrez, is my example. But I would never ever.
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
I love you too.
I'm going to have that put on your tombstone, Anne-Marie. Here lies Anne-Marie, loved by Riyadh and everybody else.
I'll tell you what was surprising yesterday. I was shocked. Anne-Marie has actually got a screensaver wallpaper on her phone of me.
No, I haven't.
I could not believe it.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Prove it.
It's completely wrong. It's Paddy.
Trust me, it's none of you buggers.
Honestly, watch.
Oh, bloody hell, gee.
Hang on, I can't get all my notifications off.
100% me. Oh, we've lost Anne-Marie for some reason.
Stop it, Dick. Think you'll find that's Prime Diaz.
It's when she made me wear one of them, them cardboard mask things of Diaz.
Anne-Marie, want to grow a bit of hair in his chest?
No, I quite like it like that, Paddy. Thank you.
Oh, fucking no. He's like a fucking piece of this. Why?
That's about right for me, that state. Everything I answered is normally 25 minutes ago. If you don't mind waiting.
I'll just give everyone a prime example of our conversation yesterday. Myself, Paddy, Stan and Andy were all sitting there round a table having a drink, and we were chatting, and Andy would reply, Paddy would reply, I'd reply, and about 10-15 minutes later Stan would reply.
Yes, because I've got to give it. No, it's true that, but you've got to give it the respect and the thought needed.
And by the way,
Stan, it might have been 15 topics ago, but the answer was still right.
Stan's about to answer the first question what I asked him at 7 o'clock here. What Steve's saying is about 25 minutes behind on his fire
on a good day.
Yeah. No, I was very energized.
You Simo Sups, much appreciated, my friend. But around that table yesterday, we had a proper mass debate, didn't you, Paddy? What? Am I missing something? You're all laughing there.
Well,
what?
It can't be massive. It was only him, can it? You've mixed his synonyms up.
I didn't know you had cinemas.
It's a
No,
very
you haven't
big
got
one,
anything.
Stan. Could you spell that?
No.
And
In 25 minutes. Let me break it down so you understand. Give me 25 minutes.
Yeah, Staffy Dave, absolutely, mate, and that's what we're sort of. It ties into what we were saying there. People can have, we can on things like this, we can discuss players, criticize. It's when they go that level, then.
Yeah, they go too far.
Yeah, when they go too far, mate. Because we can have debates and stuff like that, but it's when people go too far. Isn't it, Marie?
But you know what you have to be careful of, Andy, right? And I think everybody has to be careful of. There's nobody in this world of working age has never had a bad day at work.
I think it's the other way around, DC.
No, you're right there, Paddy. Everyone has a bad day at work.
Yeah.
Anyway,
their bad day at work is witnessed by 50, 60,000 people.
Martin said, evening all, hope good. Have I missed a meltdown? No, mate, we're not the Mancunian way.
No.
We have
Don't do meltdowns.
And by the way,
meltdown here, Martin.
By the way, Stan was in awe of you yesterday, mate. That's why he was bowing to you and stuff, Martin.
It wasn't. I was having a bit of an argument with gravity. I thought I was going to fall over.
I bet you weren't having an argument after 80 minutes. He wasn't there.
No. Anyway,
joking aside, Martin, we scored on the 9th minute, and Stan looked down and he couldn't see, and he went, "Is he gone already?" Did you, Stan? Did you?
I did. Yeah, I did, to be honest. But I tell you what, though, Andy, in answer to your question 10 minutes ago, it's not just the social media, is it? Even in the 70s, Joe Cunningham came out and said people booing me isn't helping me. It's always been there.
Yeah. And you know, so Martin's got a decent post. It's a long one, that Anne-Marie, pardon the pun. I'll let you read it.
In all seriousness, people wanted fast basketball, football. We got it. First half, good. Second half, we build-up play was good. Crossing atrocious. Brighton dangerous on counter massively.
So what? Right. So I do agree with what you're saying. Crossing atrocious. I thought Doku did the best of what he had, and I don't know how long you've been watching the show, mate, but Haaland had 3-4 players on him all the time, so it's difficult. It's like a needle in the haystack, really, isn't it? When you're trying to, pinpoint certain players at certain points. I thought Doku was very good yesterday. But
I thought Doku was brilliant.
There's very, very, very few players that can get Doku off the ball. And that yellow card that the referee gave him, it's up to him if he wants to give it. But when a minute later, somebody's falling over because they pretended they've got an elbow in the face, they're either both yellow cards or none of them are yellow cards. He can't give one to Doku and not one to that lad from Brighton.
Yeah, but
that annoyed me.
Pep went to the referee after the match, Stan, and he turned around and says to the referee, if Doku hadn't jumped out of the way, your man would have broke his leg.
Yeah.
So how's that diving?
Yeah,
well, that's, I mean, I don't really want to criticise the referee or anything like that. I'm just saying.
It was atrocious. And I said that. Now, the referee didn't make us play bad, but, and you said it yesterday, Stan, the philosopher, that although he didn't make us play bad, when we was in the flow yesterday and he was blowing up for stupid fouls, that stopped our rhythm. So that's another way of looking at it. That wasn't a yellow card on Doku. No. And like you said, after 15 minutes, he gives Savio a yellow card for time wasting. The goalkeeper was time wasting. Their goalkeeper was time wasting. He booked him on something like about the 89th minute or something like that. His overall play the referee was absolutely shocking yesterday. But that's not why.
Once the old rhythm is broken, it's hard to get back in, didn't they?
Yeah, no, it is. It was the inconsistency of the decisions that get you. You know, the number of times you're getting pushed out, you get pushed in the back or pulled back or held back, and it's like he gave a free kick, but then he's giving it Brighton's way, and you're like, well, how on earth have you got that? Well, that's football, isn't it?
Oh, come on, Martin. You know I'm normally one of his biggest critiques, but he had nobody to cross to yesterday, and that's not Doku's fault. That's not Haaland's fault.
And the difference between Doku and Savinho is quite selfish when he gets the ball. He's more likely to take a shot than Doku is, and I think they both need to work on that final ball in the box.
Yeah, so
I don't agree with that observation. That's just a cheap pot shot. That is.
It's not just a cheap pot shot. We saw it yesterday. He had a chance, Savinho, to put the ball across the box. And what did he do?
Marie Martin's comment.
Oh,
put your fucking.
You used to having arguments for yourselves like me last week, apparently.
Yeah, we won't start on fasting again, will we?
Oh,
I didn't even know I was on the show until somebody mentioned it to me on, I think it was Thursday night or Friday morning. Martin says, need 115 sorting now. Absolutely. And again, I reckon it's going to be this week. Bella agrees with me. The ref Hooper is a tosser. BC, I used to hate the international break. Now I welcome it. Need a break from everything, 100%. And we've said that this quite a lot this season, haven't we? The international breaks have come at the right time because, yet again, somebody said it early on. Bernardo's not been injured this season. Well, he's been playing through niggles, and if you depends who you listen to and stuff. But it looks like Bernardo could be out for a few weeks because honestly, he was struggling yesterday, Stan, wasn't he? Wasn't you walking quicker than him? I'm not saying something.
Yeah, he was struggling.
Yeah, but see, nobody seen when Bernardo Silva went off the pitch and he stood at the side of the pitch. He couldn't actually move for 2 or 3 minutes. And I was thinking to myself, are the physios actually going to run around that pitch to help that man before he hobbled back to the dugout? And then the report, that he wasn't injured.
So he did put that. Yeah, he did do. And
you were still there for that, were you, Martin? Because that was pretty late on.
Talking of cheap digs, I'll let you read that one, Anne-Marie. It's a long one for me, that.
He's the ref in the Spurs game last season when he blew up when Grealish was in on goal. Yeah, and he was a tosser then as well.
Brilliant.
So, again, you can't blame the referee for our performance, but you sort of can't you, Stan?
I know what you're getting at. It's it's frustrating, and I mean, I think that's why Pep's gone to him at full time, and he's saying, "Hang on a minute, at least walk halfway. Don't be coming out with some of the stuff that you were coming out with." It was a bit of a joke.
And there was one what led to Doku's yellow card as well, where I forget what their player as well. I think he was already on a yellow into Gvardiol.
Yeah.
See, I'm starting to remember some.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, we forgot that one. Yeah, he's knocked Gvardiol on his ass, didn't he?
Yeah. See,
you were away. It surprised me that.
I was awake, mate. I'm surprised I was awake next to you. So, international breaks coming up now.
You learn more there in 10 minutes than you do in the rest of the season when I'm sat next to you.
To be fair, mate, you're very, very knowledgeable, mate. I bow to your knowledge. It's just not about football. It's about everything else.
Fair enough.
So, 9 games to go. Is it 3 at home? I've got 3 more home games to go. Then I'm done with the club. Woo! 3 more to go. I'm done.
Yeah, Leicester, Crystal Palace, and Wolves.
Yeah.
We had Bournemouth the last home match of the season, have we not?
No, Fulham.
I'm sure it's Bournemouth, isn't it? No.
I thought it was Fulham away on the 25th of May.
Because I tried to get tickets for the Bournemouth match and were sold out.
We're away at Fulham on the 25th of May.
And when's the Bournemouth match? So was that the
Well,
second
sorry,
last match?
Bournemouth game. Sorry, we have got Bournemouth as well. That's on the 18th of May.
You're not right. Martin, I get this 100%. Why is it okay for Jack to be destroyed for 3 years but can't say the same on Doku? Genuine question, that's all. Jack's been criticised, and again, that all, for me, that comes down to sorry, I've just
morons.
And yeah, that are more on social media, etc., etc. But we come, genuine City fans. We come from a world where we can discuss stuff, but we don't have to slaughter them. And to be fair, credit where it's due. I thought he was very, very good against Liverpool as well. I'd just say he's going to have competition next season anyway, because Bob's back. We've got Arrivederci. No, maybe I don't. Maybe no. So I was just trying to read other comments.
But Andy, we've always
a mixed match season.
Even before the invention of social media, there were certain players used to get slated, and no matter what they do, if they scored a hat-trick, they would be slated. So it's just like more recent times, it's been Sterling and then Walker, and now it's Doku now, and then Grealish, and like it's absolutely pathetic. Like you're talking, as you said, Stan, there's so many million people in the world. There's only a couple of thousand professional footballers, and then if you take the top leagues, there's only a couple of hundred. And then Armchair Mickey goes to the stadium, and he's critiquing a professional footballer.
I've not got five left.
Here, here's something for you. You got Savio, who's been in the league 6 months. Doku, who's been 6 months. They both managed to get the ball forward more than Mo Salah. There's nothing wrong with them, lads. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. We know we're scoring a lot of goals. What frightens me, and should be frightening a lot of other people, is that when they click with Haaland and Marmoush, and don't forget, hopefully Foden will be back on form, and we've got other people to come back and what have you. We've not really discussed Phil Foden's drop-off in form on today's show, which has been quite important, because he has dropped again. He's dropped off a cliff. These lads, what is it, 20 and 21, and we want them to appear like 20-year-old blokes who've been playing in the Premier League for 10 years. Not going to happen, folks. Wow! Every now and again, Savio has a shot instead of passing sideways. If he passed sideways, somebody will say he should have had a shot.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it with the lads who were there with the ball on the pitch to make that decision, and eventually they'll click. Because if they don't, they won't be here, and he'll move them on.
I think a point as well, Anne-Marie, is everybody. I seem to think, and it's the feeling I get. Everybody compares every winger what comes in to Sané.
Yeah, of course they do. And you can't, that's the bottom line. You cannot compare these players. You just can't, because they're not the same. They have different strengths, different abilities. And, for some of them, as we've seen in the past, it takes time for these players to gel and to be at the top of their game. And you have to trust that. And because we know what he's like, Pep will get the best out of them, because we've seen him do it again and again. So I think it's just a matter of time.
Like if you want pacey wingers, right? Going back to what Stan says about different keys for different laps. You want pacey wingers, you're going to be Savinho and you're going with Doku, right? But if you want control in the game, you're playing Silva down one side and Jack Grealish down the other. Like if the only tool you have in your team is a hammer, well, you have to treat everything as a nail. Well, unfortunately, we have more tools than a hammer, so we don't have to treat every game as a nail. So Pep will pick a team that he wants. He went for it yesterday for speed against Brighton. It nearly came off.
I'd say, thinking about it, and again, he's only been with us a few weeks. Maybe, and we said it early on in the show about Haaland. He had 3 and 4 players on him, and so it was great from Doku, but it was his final pass, which I accept. I'm as somebody we both know, Martin. He always called him speedboat without a driver, and I get it. So maybe this is where Marmoush will come into it. If Haaland's taking three players that way, when Doku's on his travels, that's time when he gets to know the system and stuff like that for Marmoush to sort of take advantage of that space in the middle.
All right, divide Doku's game up into percentages, right? And we'll say crossing the ball spot on like a laser is 10%. You look at Doku yesterday, what he actually did. He tracked back, he tackled, he recovered the ball, he set up counter-attacks, but all of a sudden, certain people want to focus on is his crossing ability and forget about the other 90% of his game. Where's the fairness in that?
I think the more frustrating. I don't think Doku would get noticed or criticised if we was on our way to winning the league or being successful this season. I think it just comes down to. And by the way, that's not Martin. I have my reservations about Doku. I'm not just saying you, mate. What I'm saying is, we've seen it with Doku, like we are with Rico and so on and so forth. Players being dug out. Maybe if Doku played like he is now, last season, not season before, etc., people wouldn't blink an eyelid because we're on our way to win silverware.
So what are people saying? So every cross that Doku puts in, it has to end up in the back of the net. So that's not
that is what they're saying. That is what they're saying, Paddy. And if it doesn't go in the net, then it was a poor cross. It could be a world-class cross, but if somebody's missed the header, doesn't matter, does it? I mean, you look at Savio. People have a go at him that he shoots and he's greedy. There's not that many who've actually got more assists than they have.
Great point.
I bet he's in the top 10 for assists.
I don't know.
He's done really well.
I think it's this lazy observation by certain fans. It really is. If you're going to critique a player, at least critique him fully. Just don't critique him on one aspect of his game.
That's it. But then you've still got to get it in the context of what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go on, Anne-Marie. It's a big one, that.
We had Sane, stroke Mahrez, even Sterling, who can score goals.
Stroke Mahrez, then.
That's what it says. Now either Grealish, Doku or Savio can't score. We needed to sign Mamouche to take some of the pressure off Haaland.
Tell you what, though.
Point.
Facts. That is facts.
Sterling used to get pelters for not being able to finish. The Leon game was a classic. So, what point do we start saying, well, what's the context of what's going on?
But with Sterling, and people still don't recognise it, they only remember him for all the missed chances. They don't remember him before Pep got hold of Haaland. He had the third most goals under Pep Guardiola. Only behind.
The biggest issue with Sterling was that if he had time on his hands and he had time to think about it, he would miss. If it was instinctive, he'd score. That was the bottom line with Sterling. If he had time to think about it, he'd miss.
No, I get it, but the facts are he was third behind Lewandowski and Messi under Guardiola. That is factual. So the kid didn't do bad.
I'm going to go back to my dinosaur days, right? Raheem Sterling is a winger. He's not a forward. I know Sky Sports call him a forward. He's not a forward. Doku's not a forward. Jack Grealish is not a forward. Savinio's not a forward. They're wingers. Outside wingers, whatever you want to refer to them at, they're wingers. They're not strikers. They're wingers. But all of a sudden, if you're not scoring 20 goals a season, you're no good.
I will always stand behind Jay Fresh's comment there about Sterling. I've always been a huge fan of Sterling, and it's not just the shit he got from Liverpool fans, which you'd expect other rival teams. It's the media as well. It's the media.
All right, Andy, on that comment, Andy, right? You're comparing Sterling, the finished product, to two guys that are up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair.
Again, Kathy's spot on there. Sterling was good because of KDB's passing, and that's why we always cite to Sani and Sterling. They made them diagonal balls when KDB was, putting the passes in space for them. Now, you imagine if instead of Doku having to take players on, I know that's his job because he's a winger, but hear me out. Now, if Doku was shoulder to shoulder with somebody rather than have the ball, and we get them passes to him where he just, see a fresh pair of heels, maybe we'd see a completely different stat, as we will with Marmoush and even Haaland, because we've seen Haaland still scores goals without KDB, but look how many goals he was scoring with KDB, and that is the difference.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, there's just no pleasing some people.
We will be back next season, 100%, Andrew. No doubts in my mind whatsoever. Bellamo says Sterling's biggest talent was getting 300 grand a week at football clubs. I will always 100% back Raheem, because he's very, very underrated player. The goals what he scored.
Right. What's 300,000 a week got to do with it?
You know, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this into you now, Andy. I'll just throw this into you now. Sterling played he played 3 seasons for Liverpool. He also played a couple of seasons for us before he started getting into his double-figure stride. So in 4 years and in 5 years, I will then start comparing Savio with Sterling and Doku. And then we can start making a favourable comparison for the amount of games they've played and the experience they've gained. We're not going to compare the two of them after 12 matches. For how many Savio played? 20 maybe, 30? No, I'm not going to, we'll do it that way. We'll come back when they played 100 games each in the Premier League, and then we can compare them and see where they are.
Anyway, let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week, even up in international break. I might even get a guest on. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it might be an idea.
Should I get a guest on next week?
Yeah, get a host on as well.
He was asleep this time last night.
You're not kidding. And I'll be asleep again in about 5 minutes.
The sad thing is, I'm pulling my face. I actually agree with you.
I won't be far behind them.
No.
Oh, hey, what? A bit like on Coconut Street. Yeah. You walked into that one, literally. Anyway, we will leave it there for this week. Listen, genuinely, it was brilliant to meet up with you yesterday. I had a really good.
It really was.
Anne-Marie, no t-shirt. No
I have got a t-shirt on, but it's nothing special. It's just the empty seats at home t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But nothing too special, I'll see if I can get another new one for next week.
A see-through one?
Any promises. No, not a see-through one. No, another one.
Oh,
yeah. As always, thank you to everyone in the chat. We're coming here, we have a giggle. But yeah, I will get a guest on for us next week, as well as a host. Have a great week, folks. And by the way, next time we all have a get together, we will let you know, and anybody local and stuff like that, you know, come along and we'll have and Paddy will get the beer in.
Yeah, we'll have another Christmas party.
I thought Andy was a dentist. Yesterday he's pulling them out in Munzers.
Yeah, that second pub we went in, that was all right, Andy. Been a long time, but it was a good pub. The corner shop. Others are available.
You know what I mean? Good old school. We left Mary D's alone yesterday.
Yeah.
Because Anne-Marie says it's feral. Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. As always, listen, everybody in the chat.
Bye, Blue Sparkle. If you're watching, Blue Sparkle.
Yeah, bye, Blue Sparkle. Nice to meet you yesterday.
Yeah.
I met a celebrity yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you met Paddy.
Yeah.
I didn't. I met Stan again. I've not seen him for. Oh, by the way, Stan lost his 100% winning streak at the Etihad yesterday.
That was because of that clown. Because of that clown next to me turning up. Anyway, everyone said we should have lost.
Which clown?
Everyone said we should have lost. So I managed to dig a draw out.
Get me away from him.
I can't get you drunk from here, mate.
Hey, one thing we nearly forgot. Paddy, give us a little review of what you thought of the stadium, because a lot of people go and don't realise what's getting built around there because you see it every week.
Well,
as somebody who's not seen it, go on, Paddy. Go on.
Have you still not sent it?
I have sent it.
Anne-Marie. That's shocking.
So go on, Paddy, because you've not been at City since 2009. What's your review right now?
Well, anytime I've been to the Etihad, I've always left from Mary D's and walked across the road. My Manchester tour guide yesterday took me in from a different direction.
I've heard. He took you from behind, didn't he?
I can honestly say it's beyond words. The other side of that stadium with the hotel and the co-op is. Pictures do not do it justice. They say it's overwhelming as an understatement. But it just shows where that club is going.
Sorry, mate, I'm sort of listening to you. So, was you impressed?
Absolutely. I was actually blown away.
I said impressed then.
Blown away.
Yeah.
It's
so the guided tour Stan give you got blown away.
Yeah.
That's changed, hasn't it?
Absolutely. What happens in the canal stays in the canal. But
anyway,
on a serious note, right?
Which is where we'll find Andy next week in the canal under the brick with the swan.
You take it for granted, Andy, and Anne-Marie probably takes it for granted as well, because you're there all the time. But what's happened at that stadium is just mind blowing. Between the new stand, the co-op, the hotel, everything, it's out of this world. It's like it's something on a global scale.
Mm-hmm. So next time you visit,
especially when you compare it to say, like when I was a season ticket at Main Road, like when you had to go through Moss side, it's a different world.
It is. Anyway, I'm going to get my tea. I don't want to be rude. I'm going to get my tea.
You should be going to bed.
That's what we said to Stan last night. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the week, guys. We will do it all again next week. As always, thank you to everybody in the chat. We always have a giggle, don't we? It's always a pleasure, and it's never a what, Anne-Marie?
Sure.
Have a great week, all.
Take
Bye-bye
care,
now.
everyone.